Hey guys, welcome back to the Mind Body broadcast. And we are actually going to extend our Rona series to a
We
part
we lied to
four.
you. We
Yeah,
lied to you.
you'll see the very clickbaity title. And no, but uh, this was just kind of an off the hip idea, just because I thought it would kind of be fun. This isn't anything super serious, and nobody should be offended by this. And if you are, I'm sorry, but oh well.
Sorry,
But
not sorry.
yeah, right, exactly. We figured it would be fun and somewhat entertaining to kind of talk about some of the goofy things, the good things, the bad things, then the kind of those downright ridiculous things that we've seen in the fitness industry since this lockdown. So kind of the new trends and stuff that people are trying to do to put out content, because
Yeah.
some of the people haven't changed. Like I haven't really changed my strategy at all. I still put out the same kind of stuff, but there's definitely a difference in the landscape. And I'd almost say that in general, I don't know if you'd agree with this or not. I at first, maybe not now, but at least at first few weeks, I thought more people were posting stuff.
Yeah. I agree. I
Yeah,
do agree. I saw that too. Yep. And that's kind of slowed down a little bit.
right.
Yes.
Which the increase was mostly just like home workout stuff and people complaining, more or less. It was,
Yep.
you know, but I think one of the things that we mentioned last week, and I still am seeing it kind of sprinkled. I don't study social media, like I don't look at it a ton, so there's probably more out there. But there was the people talking about how incredible their workouts are now that they're home, and you know,
Oh,
all the,
really? Okay.
yeah. Have you seen that?
How incredible they are.
Yeah,
That's a new one for me. Go ahead. You rifle
yeah.
on that one.
Well, I've seen the opposite. Like I've obviously seen people saying, "Oh, I don't have my equipment." You know, the people are stuck with using bands and body weight and stuff. But some of the, I kind of chuckle when I see the ones that are saying how hard their workouts are and how much, even some people going as far as say that they're better. And I'm thinking, what in the hell were they doing in the gym prior to this? And like more people actually posting workout videos. I said, well, I'm thinking, damn, I wonder if
Wow.
that'll carry over into them doing some actual like sets of squats or something hard in the gym afterwards, but probably not. But
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's kind of it's kind of entertaining. I always hold my tongue. I don't ever post. I don't ever comment on anything. But I'm thinking, like, how intense were your workouts prior?
Well, yeah, because like as we talked about, like bands can definitely be a game changer in terms of upping any kind of intensity or whatever. But it's exactly if you've been just what have you been using? What have you been doing at the gym? Like that's I guess I'll say I've been fortunate to not have that been popping up on my feed that much.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it's a different stimulus, right? It's that metabolic stimulus and it burns and it's might make you out of breath and all that stuff because you're just not used to it. But I'm sorry, your set of, you know, 25 band side lateral raises that burn really bad still isn't anything compared to an all out set of 10 or 15 on squats. Like it's not even
No.
in the same realm.
Well, it's just kind of, that's going along the topic of the goofy, like you were talking about. That's going to be a really good thing to show people that maybe you do need to work a little bit on your conditioning, right? Because outside of, and maybe this is not a shot at powerlifters by any stretch of the imagination, but everyone needs to have some cardiovascular backup, we'll say, rest between sets or whatever. But if you are finding you're dying in between your sets in terms of you pump out a set of whatever 8 to 12 and you're dying on the bench and you're sweating, you're pouring buckets and you're gasping for air, that's telling you something. So now if you're doing something on a bands at home and that's doing that, well, maybe that should be something you should continue into your gym after this goofiness stops.
Yeah, yeah, potentially. I mean, if you and I've always kind of used this train of thought with clients too. I mean, if your cardio is limiting your potential on your actual sets, that's never a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're so out of breath that you're failing because you can't breathe and you can't push through the metabolite buildup and all that, then that's not good. If you can't go to mechanical failure on anything over like 6 reps,
Yeah.
So, which I mean, I do run into that. I do run into that with some people. It's just because maybe that's just the way they've trained for a long time or whatever, whatever the reason is. But yeah, that'll be interesting. See, I am very curious to see what happens when people go back to the gym. If they, like you said, are they going to use anything that they did at home and carry it over? Will they go right back to what they were doing before? Or will they go in there and totally get their ass kicked the first week and be really discouraged? Like, what's going to happen?
Well, that what I was thinking about. I was talking to my friend Brian, and we were saying, like, will people even be signing back up? Will people even start continue to go? There's going to be, I think, a little bit of an edge in of the knife topic kind of thing here, where there's going to be people that are going to go back and they're going to ram right at it, or it's going to be people say, you know what, I really didn't like going to the gym to begin with, and now I'm here and going to stay here. So that's something else to consider as well, right?
Yeah, depending on what population you're talking about, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is it your competitors versus your gen pop that were pretty motivated before, but maybe they see this as kind of a game changer and they're going to stay home. I've seen people post that. I saw a post a couple days ago, I think it was, someone said, all the people that are buying up gym equipment for home gyms, do you actually plan on going back, or are you going to stay home? And
Yeah.
there was mixed answers on that, but it's they I think it's easy to say that you're going to stay home and keep training, but it remains to be seen whether people are going to actually be motivated enough to do that by themselves in their house or in their garage or
Right.
whatever, like on a very long-term basis, not a few months, like, for 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like that's a whole different story. I think it takes a certain type of person to train in that environment all the time and actually be productive.
Well, when you think about when people kind of work from home, such as us, like you have your barn gym there, which you train out of, and I have a condo gym here. It does enough of everything that I need, but I can't really do, I'll say, a full on, really great leg and or back day. So what I try to do is, obviously I have a membership to some of the Good Lifes, which is a gym chain up here in Canada and things like that. But I'll be excited to go back to those. But no, it is, and especially if you have children, which can really impede a lot of people's progress at the gym. It's a motivational thing. It's just kind of like there's even tips and tricks in a book that I read called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's talking about that. You need to make a space that's just for this. So if you're working out now in your kitchen or potentially in your living room, are you associating that with that? It's just like, if you remember when you were children, or sorry, when you were kids and you were trying to study on the couch, but also that's where you watch TV or play video games, it's going to be not necessarily the best mind space to be in, to be able to either work out or to play video games or whatever it is. You're going to interchange those things. The same thing with sleeping. We've talked about sleep a lot, and just how much, like, just sleep, watching TV in bed is one of the worst things you can do to get your circadian rhythm and everything else going and keep your sleep cycle natural. But yeah, for people to keep going with their gym at home, it's beneficial, because it's just like even having a piece of exercise equipment at home. I used to have an exercise bike in my old condo before I moved here, with has on my gym condo that has all the exercise machines here, which is great. But I loved it and I did get use out of it. But how many people have bought these pieces of equipment and used them as coat racks? But now they're like gold, as we talked about before. Like people are getting poached. They're selling them for obnoxious amounts online. I remember it was just helping Brian set up his gym there, and he bought some of those the official power blocks or whatever they're called, all the way up to 70. I think he said they were $500 or $600, something like that, and they were being sold for 2,500 online. It's just yeah, on Kijiji and eBay. It's just this way too much. But so instead of people helping out for fitness, it's definitely changed a little bit direction there.
Right. Yeah, right. And at least you made good points. At least right now it is. We'll see how that translates over when people are already restless right now, but we'll see how that translates, because sometimes people go to the gym and not train at home. They could have trained at home all along. They just don't because they won't be motivated and they won't put in any effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're going to go back if they want to be productive, which is fine. Like that's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. And I do hope most of the people go back, because I mean, I want to see the gyms stay in business, so but but another interesting thing that kind of correlates to that is just the whole, I see so many people like, I don't know, I am observant. I feel like I'm pretty observant, and I just kind of watch what people post in reaction to certain things, because I feel like humans are very emotionally driven.
Right.
Anything, and people don't think. They'll post all kinds of crazy shit on social media. And I've definitely come to the conclusion, which I think you could have pretty much said this before, but people can't spend 30 seconds inside their own head. They're losing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's easier said than done, because granted, you and I were used to this stay at home type of thing. Granted,
Yep.
there are more restrictions, and it's kind of nice to stay at home kind of on your own terms, right? But without someone telling you what to do. But at the same time, I'm doing all right. Like I can sustain this for a while if I need to. And it is different if you're busy, right? If you're doing nothing versus being busy is obviously helpful. But man, some of these people I just feel like they can't be in their own head space for more than a couple minutes, and they just start unraveling.
Yep. We're going way off topic here, but that's exactly it. I know the people that there's roommates that or people that can't live alone. I remember when I moved out here, one of my buddies said, "Hey, do you want to come? Can I come out there and live with you in Alberta from the East Coast where we were from?" And I said, "No, I'm really happy living I enjoy my alone time. I'm okay with that." He's like, "Well, I can't live alone, so I guess that's not going to work." And I was like, "Wow." So, and now if you're kind of forced into this with the virus and the social isolation and all that other whatnot. And so, yeah, it's kind of look in the mirror kind of thing. And you're like, wow. So it's, you start thinking about what you're thinking, and that some people don't need those distractions. And here we are, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That was off topic, but I thought it was kind of.
I think it's kind of relevant to the situation for sure.
Sort of. Yeah. But
yeah.
Going back. All right.
Yeah, more goofy stuff though. So like I'll say actually some not goofy stuff, which was actually very interesting. I went for a walk. I even made a Facebook post about this. I saw I know that parks are closed down, but like there's some little squares here in Calgary where outside on the grass where people were just either they're suntanning because the weather's very nice. This I think was yesterday or the day before. It doesn't matter. But there was I saw at least two girls with they had their hip circles on, which is a band that goes around your knees, and they were doing some step ups. They were doing some side lunges. They were doing some squats, and it was really cool to see some outdoor fitness things going on. I don't know if I mentioned in the last podcast or not, but my friend Kate, she had her CrossFit company had the RCMP, which is the Canadian police out here, had their sanctioned an event outside. There was social distancing, and they had it outside in a parking lot, and they were doing their CrossFit workouts together, and which is outside. So that was kind of neat. There was only about 4 or 5 of them, and it was all the coaches just themselves. And I thought that was really kind of cool, seeing that it was at least being accepted and no one was being fined. So I know it's very different depending upon where you're at, but at least people are somewhat trying to do things, but that's still very goofy going along the same topic.
Yeah, I saw this wasn't here because I mean we have some places like that around here, or some like trails and things that people can use, in certain places that are all public. But I saw a sign the other day, someone had posted online about they were actually they closed the trail down because people weren't practicing social distancing or whatever. Like they weren't allowing people on the trail because
that's way too much.
I'm thinking, damn. Yeah, I'm like, that trail's not even that. I know where it was too. I'm like, that trail's not even that busy. It probably sees like 10 people a day. Which is just, It's incredible to me, because this whole idea of immune system, right? Of building of having a strong immune system is kind of it's not really being viewed properly. And
Mm-hmm.
some people are pointing it out. Like I've seen some people talk about it and they're making valid points, but I don't think like the actual people that are making the restrictions, like, damn, you're cooping people up inside. They're not getting any sunlight. I'm sure they're not probably probably not sitting in front of a sun lamp or supplementing and doing all the crazy shit that I do because I don't go outside. And
Yep.
you know what I mean? They're just
Yeah.
your average Joe and Jan, right? They're not doing these things, and their immune systems are weakening, and they're eating more junk food, and they're not moving as much, and all this stuff. I'm like, shit. It's like, you're really making it damn near impossible to function normally. It's kind of,
Yep.
I thought that was extreme. Definitely unfortunate. I don't know if everywhere is like that. They don't allow that type of thing, but I know, like you said, the parks and stuff had closed, and it trickled down into some kind of like nature areas and walking trails and bike trails and stuff were
Yeah,
shutting down.
the great parks here, like the Banff, which is a very big popular place here in Canada, Banff, Canada, where there's all the mountains are, which is also known as there's Whistler, which is a very big place for snowboarding and things such as like the hiking trails. Those are all pretty much closed down for the meantime as well, which is just, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But they also announced here that all the outdoor stuff is not allowed to happen, like in terms of gatherings, festivals, concerts are not allowed to. I think the minimum now is September 22nd. So the very famous Calgary Stampede is now not allowed to happen here. So there's just, yeah, like it's going to be a very different summer for a lot of people. I think you were mentioning something about a concert that you were going to.
Yeah, well, it probably not, but
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it's happening in July, we'll see, right?
I
Because
doubt it.
yeah, I know this is, again, like we're just talking about Google fitness stuff. But we're still, everyone's interested in the virus stuff as well, but just also to link it back to fitness and still making sure that it being goofy is just that, like, if your gyms are opening up and everyone wants to go back to the gym, maybe stay in your gym or do as much as you can from your gym. Why? Because gyms are a cesspool of germs and viruses. Like, yes, how many people do you see actually wipe down the machines when they're done? They use a little spray bottle and they do what? Nothing. If they even use it at all. Sometimes there's disposable rags, sometimes there's not. I even heard talks of they're going to have personal trainers or front desk staff in between clients or sets or whatever, walk around and spraying down machines and whatever. That's going to be a hard thing to do. Between schools and public systems, that there's a cesspool, and obviously hospitals, there's a cesspool of things. So even if your gym opens back up, I would be very wary and be very looking into how their sanitation process is, because just, you never know, right?
I mean, it'll never. I don't know about never, but it's not. It definitely won't be the same. There'll be, I'm sure, plenty of restrictions and procedures. I have no idea what those will be, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be different. But yeah, fuck. I mean, as far as exposure goes, everyone's gonna be exposed to the damn thing eventually.
Mm.
Probably, most likely. If it comes back next year or whatever, I mean, hell, it's gonna make its rounds. I know it's pretty crazy because they were, another slightly off topic, but they were a prison locally here. They had a big outbreak of it because
Really?
yeah, they were testing more people in the prison, right? And
Okay.
part of it could have been they had a lot more available testing in there, but um, they found that the majority of the people were actually asymptomatic, but they had the antibodies, which was interesting. I don't know if that's good or bad. I guess that could be good and bad at the same time. It's good because
Yeah.
they weren't symptomatic, but it's bad because they're carriers and people wouldn't know, you know,
Hmm.
type of thing. But yeah, exposure. Yeah, the whole exposure thing. Yeah, fuck. I mean, everyone. will eventually be exposed. The Amazon packages that you get in your doorsteps could have it on the box. Who knows?
That's exactly
You
it.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
Like
got it.
it's it's going to be just like anything else. I mean, people get sick with stuff all the time. The flu, or they get a cold or whatever, and they weren't exposed to anything. It just kind of random, right? They just
Yeah,
picked it up somewhere.
yeah,
And
you got
yeah, but the the one of the things that I saw that was that was really comical, and I'm sure there'll be people buying them. And I mentioned this before the show, was I saw some of your big influencers, if you want to call them that, I guess that's the word for it,
Yep.
is we're selling home workout ebooks or
That's what I was just about to talk about.
or
You read my
programs.
mind, buddy. Here you go.
Oh, you want to talk about it's a money grab, obviously, because I mean, what are you going to put in a home workout ebook? And secondly, it's just like any other generic ebook. You have no idea. It's just a random. If you're outside of working with a coach that can give you a customized, actual program, anything you get that's already set is just set. Like, it's not customized, right? And being at home is going to be even simpler. They're literally going to tell you body weight and bands. And I didn't look at the ebook, but I bet you there is some hilarious exercises
Oh, yes.
in those
Well,
ebooks. I mean, some of the stuff you see for the ebooks, for the exercise guides anyhow, like some of the booty building and all that shit, some of the stuff is hilarious to begin with. I can't even imagine what a fully home workout ebook looks like.
well, because the funniest part for me is seeing how much there's info is there out for free right now. There's people just posting it up for free, and then people are trying to charge for it. Okay, but and then once again, now is that meant to be for you or whatever? Is just get out and do things? But please don't waste your money on something like that. Like Austin said, and it's so that's definitely goofy. Like the ultimate ripped ab 7-second money, or not money, ab rip burning package, or your money back, or coronavirus you'll get package deal mega, right? So that's kind of what's going on right now. It's just, we've already talked about watching out for scammers and things like that, but even now, and this is really, here's something goofy is that for my website where people can apply for my coaching, I had someone, and they're getting sneakier and sneakier. I didn't know you could do this. So someone went through my application process. It says, like, what is your age, what's your height, what's your goals, what's your weight? And they wrote in there and said, hi, I supply medical supplies. I supply masks, hand sanitizer, everything else. So they applied, and they were trying to sell me something through my website. And an application form was like, that is smart as all life. I can't believe it. So watch out for those too. There's some other scam things that are going on. It's, I know that's not fitness related, but holy smokes, are they trying to take advantage of a lot of people on that kind of things right now?
Right. Which people get taken advantage of every day. But yeah, they saw a quick, it kind of, it kind of reminds me of when Kai Green put out his vegan ebook.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he put out a plant-based dieting ebook when the whole plant-based thing was really hot there,
Okay.
How funny is that? Like, I can't even help but just laugh at stuff like that. Like, I guess if you purchase those things, that's your own fault. That's kind of a natural selection going on there.
Naturally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't.
What happened to him, man? Not to rifle off too much on Kai Green, but what happened, man? Like, I believed in him and everything else, and now I'm hearing this, and just, is he going broke? What's happening, Austin?
Is he broke though, or is he actually doing well?
Well, that's why is he putting out this kind of ebook? Like, who's coordinating this stuff, right? I still see some of it. Like, we won't talk about goofy stuff. I watched some of the documentaries on him a while ago when he had plays up of himself where he was talking of a mask and was going over his childhood. And I said, oh man, well, Kai Green's doing Kai Green and good for him. But man, now he's on to plant-based ebooks. My gosh.
Yeah. Interesting. But again, it's it's a lot of people just get caught up in their following and their likes and then ultimately obviously profit. And
Yep. Sensationalism.
yeah, right, well, that too. That's how they market it. And it's yeah, I mean, it's all over Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I'm sure if like I said, I don't follow it that close and I don't really pay attention to many of those influencers. I just happen to see it somewhere. I don't remember
Wow.
where, but I
Yep.
bet you if you looked at trends over time, like if you looked at, this 6 month span, keto's really hot, and this 6 month span, plant-based is hot, and then you had
Yep.
paleo, and then you had like whatever, and now it's at home because people are in lockdown, so home workouts. And I'm sure it's the same types of people are just taking advantage of people in um, each of those scenarios. But at the same time, you have to keep things in context. You have to understand that there are people out there that get their fitness advice and other life advice from celebrities, politicians, all
Oh
kinds of shit
gosh.
like that, just because they are famous.
The actual influencers,
I'm
right? Not
thinking
just
like,
yeah.
what the, yeah, some of the places that people will go for information, like I don't really think I'm going to get my nutritional advice from the Kardashians, you know.
Yep.
so so I I probably am giving people too much credit in some cases as to their decision making abilities. but but yeah, the ebook thing was pretty comical. Not surprised in the least bit.
No.
They saw a hole and they took it. Yep,
Yep.
they saw the opportunity. But you're right. You said free content, so there are a lot of people there. There are and there aren't, because there are a lot of people putting out workout content. But one thing I mentioned I don't know if I mentioned it to you or what. No, I think it was when I was with talking to Joe on the last podcast,
Yep.
was a lot of people that were putting stuff out before. I actually noticed a big drop off in content because,
Really?
yeah, I did. I really did, because I paid attention to, I didn't pay, it wasn't like I was reading it all or looking at all the videos, but I just, like the algorithm, right? The algorithm on social media shows you the same like 100 people all the time if you're lucky, type of thing. And I noticed there was some reputable people that a lot of, or people that put out a lot of content that really fell off. And I don't know if it was because the gyms weren't open and they were losing clientele and they didn't have much
Huh.
to post about, or what the reason was exactly. But I almost thought it was kind of more of an opportunity to just
Yeah.
continue, continue what you were doing. And
Should it be the opposite?
I
Yeah.
would think, I mean, I'm like, again, I don't claim to be a marketing expert, but I would think that it would be the opposite. I would think that it would be an opportunity. And like you and I talked about, there are still plenty of coaches out there that didn't lose all their clients.
Right.
I or or even ones that are still getting new clients. I got 2 new clients last week.
Yep.
So
Myself included.
right is what you said. That's great, and that's because there are, the good coaches and the people that are adaptable and critical thinkers. They're going to be able to figure out how to make things work, and there's always some kind of positive. We can always figure out, like they just canceled some more shows, so I had a couple more clients that were in prep. I mean, I pretty much figured they were going to cancel them,
Yeah.
and we were like, okay, what's our next move? How can we take advantage of this situation? Well, you're already pretty lean, so that's good, right? We can work with that for sure. So there are, I just thought it was interesting to see how like the attitude and the shift in content went from, in even the people that were still posting, I noticed just such a huge negative shift. You know, I just don't, and to me, I feel like I post some personal stuff. I'll post some goofy stuff on my story, like my cats or like the birds that I watch
Right.
outside or
Yeah. Me too. Me
shit like.
too. Yeah. Of
Right,
course.
you're right. Of course, yeah. You post that kind of stuff, and but I didn't post anything negative because my social media, a lot of it is used to post podcasts, information, and just context. And I just feel like that's just such like a black eye towards your image, a
Oh
business
my
image.
gosh, negative marketing. Even when it says no, all attention is good attention. I just, oh man, there's not enough positivity out there, and I'm not talking about being one of those people that everything is grass is always green type of thing, but to always be like shitting on keto, shitting on whole plate, shitting on the virus. Like, where's the positivity, man? Like, give back, do some good stuff like that. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to open up my news feed because what is social media now? It's a goddamn newspaper. That is what it is. Your news feed is your newspaper. So I don't want to wake up and see nothing but tragedies all the time. So therefore, Austin and myself, of course, are putting out something that's good, that you can valuable, that's good and interesting to read on. If you want to read the bad stuff, good. It's going to be there. Of course, it's going to be there. But perpetuating it, I don't know, man.
Right, right. It's okay to provide information and be realistic or opinionated, I think, but I just think it's kind of weird when people that and I don't think I'm the only one. I think there are a lot of people that use their social media primarily for business and not for their personal life.
Oh, if you were to see how little people I have on my personal Instagram, which please do not find me on there, it's hilarious, right? Because
Right.
I have that for it's my family and that's my friends that I have in person friends. I'm pretty sure I don't even have you on that one, Austin, and don't you dare try to add me because I won't add you on there anyway. But that's it. And like I've got some cousins, I've got some friends that don't even have social media, and I'm a little bit envious of that. But my parents have it, of course, or whatever. But yeah, but for business, but it's like it obviously, this is beyond way off topic. It can consume everything, especially if you want to be diving into conspiracy theories about the virus and everything else. Like, man, you're flooded with everything right now, especially if you got the time, which most people do have because of layoffs and jobs and whatever else due to the virus, let alone fitness and not being able to work out. So therefore, your hobbies are potentially being taken away from you. So yeah, scary stuff out there.
Yeah, it is. It's bizarre. It's weird. It's weird to me. It's just weird. I guess my point is it's odd to me to see people that use their social media for mostly business to post so much negative stuff. Like I think
Negativity.
certain things just don't look good and they just don't like there's certain things I would never post about. I would never post my political opinions because that's what it shouldn't matter, but if I did, I'd scare away people that didn't agree with me right away.
Yep.
And that unfortunately that's how it works. And then also negative stuff about any current events or anything like that, because that's so much of what social media is now, it's current events. And that kind of stuff, I feel like if what you're doing on your social media is mostly related to your business, man, that stuff just is not where you shouldn't put that on there. I just don't. People won't. You might lose some potential clientele and business simply because of that stuff.
I'm a little polarizing in terms of you want to make sure that people understand what you're about. Like, as in, I know people think that I really enjoy hair products, which I do, and I like fashion, I like fitness, obviously. And then Austin likes cats. He's got his tripod there. His new
Yeah.
addition to the family is Oliver, right? Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and like, so that's things, and that's what people go to us, but that's not pushing people away. Because as soon as you bring up something along those lines, like, yeah, you should start posting about politics or where else. That's social media. Like, we're not telling you what to do here. It's just that's just not what I want to see in the news feed. And my gosh, it's getting a little bit too jumbled, I'll say.
Right. Yeah, I mean, your social media is totally just your personal page, do whatever. Who cares? I know if I was if I did not have a business that use social media, I'd probably just troll people all day. Literally, probably just make like a few fake accounts and just troll people just because,
Right.
right? Sounds like fun. But,
I'm
but for what
amazed
I'm
that
doing,
I'm amazed that there's not a person that is an Instagram detective or whatever. Be like, I'm going to create an account. I'm going to sneak in. I'm going to find out if your girlfriend's cheating on you or something like that, right? Like
right,
a PI of Instagram or Facebook.
right. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Maybe it doesn't matter as much as I think it does. It's just if to me, that stuff's kind of a turn off.
Yep.
If especially if people are out there seeking a coach and they go on their page and, because that's one of the main ways people find coaches.
Yeah. Who do you align with?
Right. And I don't want to have all kinds. If they don't want me to coach them because they don't like cats, well, that's kind of ridiculous. But, but
Yeah, but agreed though. So like that's the thing though. If like let's say I put out the I like cats, and if you hate cats, well then cool. Maybe I'm not your person, but yeah, but the negativity saying like I punch cats for money, that's not something you should be putting out there.
yeah, there's some crazy stuff, man. I mean, this isn't it isn't anything new. There's some coaches that are pretty what would you call it? They're well known but are also well known for all kinds of for having like a very, let's call it, flamboyant social
Okay,
media account, because they'll have like drug filled rages and shit like that.
sure.
You know, those types of
Oh
people,
yes.
yeah, those types of people have always been there, but I just noticed that the negativity was on a sharp rise.
Yep.
So, yeah, just a tip, I guess. Maybe especially if you're a coach that's using those platforms and you are trying to get business, I probably would maybe just stick to posting like actual stuff related to your business.
Well, you want to keep going on the topic of being goofy. I just posted on my Facebook I signed up because I wanted to reserve my name, make a Marty. I'm on TikTok now, Austin. Oh my gosh, I got myself
Oh my.
into,
Yeah.
right? So I think one follower. Hi, Mark Young. Thanks for finally following me. I have no idea what I'm doing on there. I put a profile up. I'm going to try this thing out and let's see what's going on. And do I post our podcast on there, Austin? Goofiness. What is the world coming to? What's your thoughts on any of that stuff?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure how that translates into business. Can you market on TikTok? Definitely. I'm sure you can, for sure.
That's what I'm
How,
being told. So apparently I need to be,
however,
yeah, go ahead.
this is always my thought is how the kind of stuff that you post and how you market totally dictates the type of people that you attract.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying TikTok's full of morons. There's some funny stuff on TikTok that people have sent me. It's funny.
Yep.
But it wouldn't be like if that was the stuff that a potential coach was posting. I'm like, that's probably not. Like, I would be more interested in their knowledge and their clients and their, just that stuff, right? They're, but I don't know. I don't know where the marketing, I don't know what the value is for coaches. Couldn't you, like I said, you could definitely market yourself on there. You could make probably like goofy ass videos of you cooking and singing or something, right? You know what I mean? Like whatever. Now, I don't know like how serious of people you're going to be able to pull off of there. I'm not really sure. Is that somewhere people are going to go for their coaching information? I don't think that is going to override good platforms like podcasts, right? Or posting videos or Facebook or even Instagram, just because it's so condensed and kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You summed
Maybe.
it up
I'm sure
perfectly.
there is some potential, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know again, like how much.
Yeah. Well, there's some validity to there, of course.
You could, it's kind of like I had a conversation the other day with a guy that he's not my client. He had been my client in the past, but he posts in a lot of, he doesn't do a lot of his own content, like a lot of his own posts. He doesn't do any podcasts, nothing like that, but he posts in a lot of the bodybuilding groups that are on Facebook. and he gets a lot of like really, I don't even know what you call it, a lot of really shitty clients. We'll just say that. And I'm like, man, if you really looked around the groups, there's a lot of stuff in there that's kind of questionable and probably not very intelligent. So I'm not sure what you expect.
Really?
You know, some of these groups are so goofy. I don't know if you've ever looked in. Have you ever looked in some of the bodybuilding groups on Facebook?
No,
Oh my gosh, it's hysterical. It's like, you know, and everyone has to learn. I'm not knocking anyone that's a beginner. And they are trying to learn. That's great. But some of the advice in there and some of the questions about just like crazy stuff asking, it's been rather, because I get notifications, and some of the people that added me to these groups, I didn't even know it. So I get the notifications. Some of the questions now that some of these people aren't lifting, like how much drugs and stuff they should be taking right now to retain muscle while they're not lifting. The conversations are hysterical. It's
Yeah.
it's like, well, again, it boils down to, you will, if you're a coach and you're using whatever your advertising is, whether it's word of mouth, well, guess what? Word of mouth's the same thing. If you're a jackass, you're gonna, that's gonna hurt your potential business. If you're posting stuff that's probably not really very positive or helpful to people, that might hurt your business. If you're only associating yourselves with kind of really outlandish type of people, then those are the types of clients you're going to get.
Yep.
It's not hard. It's like, it is harder to get good clients, I think, though. Like as a whole, it is harder to get all those really good clients, the ones that adhere up to everything, the ones that give you good feedback, the ones that don't hassle you too much. It's hard to get those, but I feel like if you put in the work and build up a good reputation, in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Yep. Well, those are the kind of clients you want to keep around all the time, right? The ones that you'll grow together, you'll make their lives complete. It's not life coaching, because I don't want to call it life coaching, because that's a term that's just been slandered a little bit way too much for me to try to take on, because I think people need to really live life before they can pretend they are a life coach or anything along those lines, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Here's a cool little plug. I'm gonna give this plug, even though and I'll post more about this. So anyone that follows me, I'll probably post about it here soon, or we might get him on might have him on the OPD podcast to do like a little interview. But I had a cool conversation with a guy. What was I don't even remember what day it was, to be honest. Friday, something like that. And he lifts, he trains, he works out and stuff. I believe he was in the military. He is a licensed therapist. He has a master's degree. He has a bunch of schooling and a pretty impressive resume. He sent me his whole entire resume. And he wants to start, or he's already in the process of starting, a business catering to therapy for this industry. And it's a really cool idea. And I thought you would like the idea. Somebody that coaches and stuff could refer people to, that's actually like a licensed therapist and knows how to deal with this population and the types of ideas that are the types of issues that go along with this population.
Yeah. My buddy Daryl, he is I call him the god of massage therapy, because he knows exactly what to do, and it's kind of those muscle contractions and just how to touch things and make sure that you're at the right place at the right time, and to massage these places, and everything kind of works out like that. And it's just with the pressure points and massaging and stripping, it's easy to see when you don't need to do these things, but you do at the same time. It's just, wow. Like, you need to make sure that you can just, wow, it's just, everything's just right there.
Yeah. So it's good to have, like, I guess it's good to have this this network, right? This guy came to me with this idea, and I'm like, dude, here was his concern. And I gave him an example too. Here was this concern that I'm not putting out any names yet because he hasn't told me to officially give it the go yet. But would he actually be able to like have clients and stuff and make a business out of it? I said, for one, yeah, if you do a good job and market yourself, I think so. Secondly, if it's mostly online, there's no overhead. And third, I gave him a perfect example of people making businesses. Great example was posing coaches within the industry. When was a posing coach, like paying a posing coach, when did that become a thing? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know what, handful of years ago, it kind of started to really become a thing. And now you have a handful of posing coaches out there that take like 3 months to even get into.
Right.
So literally one of your biggest names, like Kenny Wallach, he has a freaking secretary.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's a secretary, you know, managing his appointments. And it's like, damn. So yeah, I thought that was I know that's slightly off topic, but it popped in my head. And I told him I'd mention it, but I'll probably talk a little bit more about it. But I'm like, yeah, that is a great idea. Someone that coaches could have in their network, because, you know, us as coaches, we do, the good ones do deal with psychology some, but there are certain things that they're out of our scope of practice and they're out of our scope of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty cool. But is there anything else that you've seen pop up? The negativity, like the whole changing and posting, I thought was interesting. The home workouts I thought was kind of interesting. And then the ebook one was pretty funny. But is there anything else that you've seen?
Nope. That sounds good to me.
Okay, great, grand. Well, we'll cut this one a little bit short today. This should be part 4 of 4. We're not going to drag it out anymore. This will be it.
Finally, this will be it?
Yep, I think so. I'm out. All right. I'm all Rona'd out. I'm
Rona'd out. All right. Well, then, thanks from Austin and Marty here at the Mind Body Broadcast, and we'll catch you next time.